Tourism Minister Randy Boissonnault joins us now. Minister, thanks for being here. You tell me, was it a surprise when Conservative MP Rob Moore stood up and said, let's do this all together now, let's get this thing done?
It was indeed a surprise, Evan. And look, it's a great day for Canadians. It's great to be with you on the show again. Look, we had echoes. We had, discussions with colleagues across the way in all parties. And this was, you said it, a moment of unanimity. There are amazing things that you can do in the Canadian House of Commons when you have unanimous consent. And just so that everybody who's watching understands, it means that everyone in that chamber and tuning in hybrid agreed that this bill should proceed to the Senate for them to do what they need to do so that this bill protecting Canadians can be passed into law.
Yeah, this has been a long time coming. How soon can it get through the Senate? Can it pass before the winter break?
Well, look, that's entirely in the hands of the Senate, but I think senators will have heard at the press conference and from their own constituents, their own people around the country that, hearts and minds have shifted on this issue. We heard largely, during the election that people wanted us to work together. We've demonstrated that from all parties today in the House of Commons. I think it's really important for the Senate to tread carefully, to do what they need to do, to approach this issue sensitively, to not traumatize people who had to come to committee at the House of Commons stage last time. And it's an opportunity for all senators to do the right thing and to be on the right side of history and to end conversion therapy in Canada and to demonstrate our leadership on human rights issues and the protection of LGBTQ2 rights around the world.
What are penalties if someone is found forcing someone to undergo conversion therapy or performing a conversion therapy?
Well, the penalties are in the years. I think one of them is 10 years. And I have to congratulate Minister Lametti and Minister Ian for listening to community. Evan, if you go back to 2019, when we first started to really talk about this as a caucus and as a government, this was an issue that, came to me when I was special advisor to the Prime Minister on LGBTQ2 issues. And it was a deeply traumatizing issue. This had been happening across the country. One study out of Vancouver from the Centre for Community Research indicated that 20,000 gay men in Canada had been subjected to conversion therapy practices. And so to amplify those voices and to see the legislation be stalled last time, but now pass the House so quickly today is definitely a moment in time.
Yeah, and by the way, it was interesting to see Liberal MPs giving shout-outs to Conservatives like Michelle Rempel-Garner, who they said had been very much a supporter of this. And it was really a moment of unanimity. I just want to ask you personally, because it was very emotional when Rob Oliphant, who's a member of the LGBTQ plus community, as are you, you're very open about it, Randy Boissonnault, just on a personal note, because politics affects individuals, this one affects you. What did it mean to have that moment in the House?
I'll remember this well into my 90s. I'll be in my rocking chair, maybe even wearing this scarf and remembering today because it protects people. I mean, nobody can consent to torture, Evan, and nobody should be tortured or changed for who they are. I mean, to every LGBTQ2 person watching today, you're beautiful and awesome who you are. And you don't need to be changed. You don't need to be fixed. We are who we are. We're born this way, and you're your perfect self right now. And that's what the chamber said. The chamber today said that we belong, and we don't have nearly enough LGBTQ2 representatives on any side of the House. And I think this says to some queer kids out there that they can be parliamentarians someday, that they can be premiers of provinces someday, that they can, lead and be heard. And I went right up to Michelle Rempel-Garner, gave her a big hug. I went and talked to Melissa Lantsman. I went and, said hi to Karen Vecchio. I shook the hand of the Conservative leader. And then I did the same with the NDP, with the Bloc, and with the Green member, because this was unanimous consent. Not a single voice said no. Everybody said yes today.
It was a pretty remarkable moment. We don't see that very often in a very divisive parliament. It happened today on the ban of conversion therapy, and you're right to point out the United Nations has called this a form of torture. Minister Randy Boissonnault, we often do a lot of partisanship here, but we got to celebrate those moments when all parliamentarians come together, and this is one of those rare moments. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Evan. All the best.